one thing, the Charlie Puth conversation has come up again about See You Again. And so
what a good song, though. I do agree.
It sparked my first question to you, which is, what is a song that came out that was just run into the ground that you absolutely hate?
I mean, absolutely hate is a strong word.
I have a few.
I don't think I absolutely hate anything because I report on music. I'm consumed by music. So it's always like I can find a sweet spot for any song.
Okay, you could find appreciation.
I can find appreciation.
Yeah.
But if I had to think, I don't even think this is a good answer because it's just, but the first thing that came to my head is Havana.
Oh, I forgot about that.
I'm not a huge fan.
I liked it.
It was just like everywhere. It was ad nauseum. I mean, you could not escape it. And it was like that particular song, I was like, okay, enough is enough. Okay, guys. And I loved the harmony. I think they got a lot of bops. I love, like, it's not that I'm completely against a Camila Cabello jam, but that specific one.
She has better songs, I think, actually, than Havana. But I think, like, with me... Well, you work at Billboard, so that's the charts. Like, that's legit the charts. But with radio, like, we have to play that. We have to play everything that's popular over and over and over and over and over again. So when I tell you, this almost made... I don't want to say it made me want to quit my job, but it was just really hard at the time.
What is it?
Dance Monkey.
Oh, Dance Monkey.
Do you remember?
Oh, that one
song?
could go.
Yo.
You know what? Now you just got me in another lane.
What?
Cheerleader. Cheerleader can go.
Okay.
Cheerleader and Dance Monkey. Those are those kinds that are earworms, good candy, but just like, why?
Once you hear it a couple times, you're like, well, that was a good fun time. But it was just like the fact that we played it probably once an hour, which at that point in radio, you call it a power record. And so it went into power and it was just kind of like just never ending Dance Monkey, the piano at the beginning of it, and then the way it was sung. And this is not even any hate to the artist. Like, obviously, people liked it because it got to a point where it was played at power. So, like, and not the radio station power, but played in a power category.
Yeah.
So I get it. But that, I will say, oh my God, I've never instantly disliked something that much. And then the MD at the station I was working at was obsessed.
Okay.
So from there, it was like in it. But so there's this video going around about Charlie Puth. And it's got like millions of views right now. And I thought it was really interesting because we have some insight on like the industry at the time. But I kind of want to play it for you if you're willing to sit through it.
Let's do it.
For like 2-ish minutes.
The moment this song was released, he wasn't supposed to be on it. This song was supposed to be given to Chris Brown, but the music team changed their mind the last second, but there was a reason for that. This song, See You Again, was the most famous Fast and Furious song of all time, honoring the life of Paul Walker. And Charlie wrote it, but they didn't think he had what it took to be on a song this big. They hit up Adele to sing it. She said no. They asked Sam Smith. He said no. They hit up Jason Derulo, but he couldn't sing it right. So they asked Chris Brown, and he made a sample that was this close from being on the original song. But the only thing standing in his way from the song was Charlie. Because even though he wrote it and pitched the song to be the tribute for Paul Walker, the song was never made for Paul Walker. The song was made because Charlie lost his childhood best friend to a car accident. His name was Vale. And after he found out he passed away, as a way of grieving, he would text his friend's phone saying he'll see him again one day, and then he turned it into a song. So when he sung the sample, no one else could build the same connection and emotion to the song like he could because none of the artists went through the same pain he did. So he pitched the song to Fast and Furious, and they loved it, but didn't want his voice on it because he wasn't a big enough artist yet. Charlie started a YT channel when he was only 18, doing covers to songs, and he started to gain a little traction. Enough to where Ellen invited him onto her show and signed him the same day to her record label called 1111. But only lasted 1 year with Ellen's label because he said they ghosted him after his viral moment went away. So he left her label and continued making solo music, one song being called See You Again. And when he pulled up to the music shoot thinking he was going to record the music video, they sent him back home, thinking Chris Brown could sing it better than him. And knowing that this song wasn't only for Paul Walker but his best friend too, he threatened to pull the song from the Fast and Furious soundtrack only a week before the movie was released if he wasn't wasn't on it. And the very next day, he was invited back to film the music video for the song. And it went triple platinum. Everyone loved it. What a better way to honor Paul Walker. And afterwards, he signed a major record deal and started balling out, saying the first thing he did was book a 5-star hotel in Beverly Hills for a week so he can see how it feels to be at the top. And he recalls himself saying if he didn't stand up for himself with the song, he probably wouldn't be here today.
I love that story.
I know. And I was watching it and I was like, well, first of all, that was my first year in radio in LA. So that was another song that we just played over and over and over and over again. This was 2015. And it was like a huge deal, especially because Fast and Furious and Paul Walker and that whole thing. But like, I like that story a lot because I've met Charlie a few times. I've interviewed him a few times. I think he's a great talent. I would
smart guy.
Smart.
I don't know if everybody
John
knows
Mayer.
this at home. That man is intelligent, like
super smart.
So smart.
Yeah, but it's like the manifestation part of it, where he rented out a hotel room for 5 nights in Beverly Hills just to like experience what that life would be like. I feel like is such a great example of what manifestation is, by the way. But do you remember that year, like 2015 when it came out?
Of course. And the funny part is it reminds me of something that I probably was doing around that same time, and which makes me want to ask you a question. What is one thing that you've done when you moved to LA or when you booked a gig that you were like, ooh, I am part of this community. I'm part of this culture. I'm going to go blank. Not maybe rent out 5 nights in Beverly Hills, but like what's a activity you did that made you feel at the time like you had made it, quote unquote?
Well, what's funny is like I actually have considered lately doing kind of the same thing and like renting out like a Malibu house or something for a couple nights just because I want to.
Just because you want to, not because to feel like you made it, but just because you want to.
But I feel like in that respect, it would mostly be bettering myself in the form, and I don't like condone this, but I would go shopping probably. But shopping in a way where it's just like, okay, I feel like I've elevated in my life, and clothes have always been hard for me. That sounds really weird, but like growing up, we didn't really have it like that. And so when everybody else was getting Birkenstocks, we were getting like something the fuck else. It was just like, anything else. That. It was never like the thing of the time that you wanted to get to like look cool to your friends. So anytime that I've made a little bit of progress or done something cool in my life or wanted to feel as if I was making it or about to make it or wanted to manifest making it, I would go shopping and buy something of value that I knew would last or that I knew would be like of the time or just whatever. And I still do it to this day, but just to like, if something happens, like an event or something, I would be ready for it because I have the fit.
Because you have the fit, you have the item, you have the bag. Okay.
Yeah.
No, mine was way lamer than something designer. But I remember the first time I booked like an official hosting gig on my own. I think it was for AOL. I want to say AOL or Microsoft, some weird like thing they had where they needed a host for like a news segment. I don't remember. But I was like, oh my God, I am a host, right? This is, oh my God, so young. My thing that I called my best friend and was like, we're doing it today because I finally have made it.
What?
I went to lunch at the pizza place at the Grove.
Oh, okay.
Like, you know the one like right by the fountains?
Yes.
I like always would walk by that and be like, ooh, look at all those like fancy people eating their fancy pizza with their wine. Like now I look at that place like I wouldn't even eat there, you know? But I'm like at the time I had just moved here, like living at like the Grove was like, oh my god.
People don't know. Oh my God, I used to spend so much time at the Americana. Do you understand? Like because I lived in Glendale and like that was like I didn't have money still, you know, like working part-time in radio and like having 3 other jobs. That's not gonna help you live a lifestyle where you feel like you've made it. But the only thing that made me like that was adjacent to that was going to the Americana. Cause like those are nice ass malls. We don't have malls like that in St. Louis, Missouri.
So it makes us feel fancy.
It did.
And I mean, to be honest, the check that I got for that hosting gig was $500. It was a $500 gig.
Nice.
But at that time, being paid $500 to show up somewhere and host, I was like, wow.
Well, and back then that money meant something too. Now it doesn't. That's not a lot of anything. But like back then, that could actually do something. It might have paid your rent. You know what I'm saying? It's like, hey, but like, okay, so
took us on a tangent. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I feel that. But with the Charlie thing too, it like reminds me of like, I think people telling you to take your piece of the pie instead of waiting for it to happen. And that's what he did. You know, he was like, no, this is my song.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of people out there that are, you know, the advice is like, just post the content, just do the thing, just take it, basically. What do you think is really helpful advice when it comes to something like that? And do you think like taking your piece of the pie instead of waiting graciously for it, you know, is that good advice or is it bad advice?
I mean, I think it's great advice. I don't normally follow it, so okay. I can't say that I'm really good at it.
Yeah.
I'm very much a wait your turn kind of person. That's just how I am, Southern boy. But
Wow.
I do think that just posting, just doing the thing, pushing for yourself is actually the way to go. I think about that even when it comes to content and how I learned, like when I blew up my like Disney TikTok account.
Right.
It was all
True.
about just like posting, not overthinking the post, not trying to just post.
Yeah.
Post, and something will hit. You'll find your audience. You'll find the people that want it.
Yeah.
And I agree with that. I think you can apply that to everything in life. It's just like, no matter if if something goes wrong, what does it hurt if you had a post not get a lot of likes? Like, I think people over analyze things, and it's just like,
True.
keep putting your stuff out, put your art out. If you're a musician, put your songs out, put your
Yeah.
whatever, put it out.
Right.
And what's good will rise to the top.
What's the worst advice you've ever gotten?
Worst advice.
Have you
I've
ever like
gotten.
followed somebody's advice and it turned out horribly and you were like, never again?
I won't put this as like worst advice I've ever gotten, but the first thing that came to my head was going back season 2 of X Factor. I was on season 1 of X Factor with a boy band.
You were on X Factor?
Oh God, we're not going down this train. Let's get off of this track.
You were on, wait, as like a contestant?
Yes, I was in a boy band.
I'm finding videos.
There's videos. They exist.
As a singer?
As a singer, yes.
Okay. Wow. Okay, go on. Keep talking. I want to hear
But
more
no,
about this
it was
story.
like a great life experience for me to obviously perform on X Factor.
Yeah.
Before my hosting days, I didn't want to be an artist. I went through a recording artist phase in life. And
Oh
during
my
that phase, I was in a
God.
boy band, loved it. We got through like the same season as Fifth Harmony. So like we were out in Miami. I have pictures of me with like all of us as children. And then
I did not know.
yeah, we got eliminated. And then I think if I could go back in time, I would have just left that there.
Okay.
But instead, it was like, try again. The producers wanted us to come back the second season. I had friends that were like, oh, let's put together a different band. Like, and it was just like, it consumed the next like year of my life being like, okay, I got kicked out of season 1, but like I'm coming back the next season in a new group, even better than ever. And it was the worst idea. We didn't even make it through the first round the next time. I think, and that's when I learned about the industry, I guess, was like the producers just knew, like myself and maybe even other friends that I knew could give them good content. They're just looking for people that are good on camera.
Yeah,
you know what I
right.
mean? And I think that in my head, I just wanted to be a singer or a performer so bad that I like really was like believing that this was my shot, not thinking that what was bringing me to the table more of was just like being good on camera. I mean, but I think that sounds like an arrogant way of saying, but like, no, that's not the skill I was trying to put forward at the time.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was super depressed. I'm telling you, I went through like a solid year of like not wanting to do anything after the season 2 of X Factor because I was like, I'm not going to be famous. I'm not good enough. Like that.
Would you recommend people go on those type of shows if they're trying to like actually take their music career seriously?
I don't think so anymore. I mean, there's a couple examples of people that have risen in those, but very rare.
Kelly Clarkson.
I'm not talking about those examples. Those are solid. Those are
like
those
the
are
American
Bible.
Idol.
Yeah. Going
But
back
like an
then, I'm
X
talking about
Factor.
now.
Oh, now.
Now, like The Voice. How many people win The Voice? I don't know. There's been 20-something seasons.
Yeah.
Like, American Idol even. Like, none of these people actually end up being anything. I think it's a waste of time. Now, again, it's a TV show for people to tune into every week to watch and enjoy.
Meant to be entertaining.
Meant to be entertaining.
Right.
Not necessarily meant to make people famous.
That is crazy.
It was crazy.
I am learning, like, I had no idea. Like, I'm shocked.
Yeah, no.
I'm mad you never told me that before, actually.
Listen, all my friends from college and stuff, they always make fun of me when I post like content with like TikTok dances with like famous people or whatever now. Since everybody loves to do a TikTok dance, I have so many of my friends from college that will always comment on those and say like, wow, if only people knew this was like you. Like, cause like back in the day, I was like performing.
Yeah.
But yeah, then I
true.
just like moved on to hosting.